We are back for another installment of Anchors Away. Got a few things we want to cover that we have to get to. It's been a while. We left Anchors Away up there for a while for a specific reason. We're going to talk about that and how it apparently didn't do any good. But first, what's on deck this go around? We're going to take a look at back to school. School has started. We're going to talk a few things that that are near and dear to me and Keith when it comes to school being started and some bullies out there. Also, what is that? A question that some folks asked me right when I walked in the newsroom today. And also one of those days. You ever have one? We have. And we're going to tell you how we deal with them. But again, thanks very much for joining us. Panel is here. Ashley Ketz, Chief Keith Monahan, Mallory. We're still trying to get her back in the loop. We've got a schedule change. We talk about that all the time. Let's talk about back to school. Kids are back to school. School district trying to get things ironed out. There's going to be some issues, going to be some problems. One thing I like to do back to school, and I tell this to my daughter and any kids that listen, who cares? Who cares what if there's a group of kids out there that are criticizing another group of kids, or kids criticizing other kids, or kids criticizing you? It doesn't matter. Right. When you get to school, all you have to do is really focus on what you're there for. Have the best time you can possibly have, but of course, get to class and do your studies and pay attention to things that are important. Your close friends and your family. Don't try to be something you're not. And if there's anyone out there who's bothering you, contact an administrator, a teacher. Let them know about it. If they don't help you, you can contact me. I will come to your school and I'll take care of that problem for you, because we think bullying is a horrible thing. And Keith, you and I have talked about this before. If your main mission in life is to wake up and go out and make someone else's life miserable, whether you're an 8-year-old or an 80-year-old, you need to go back to bed. Yeah. Or just climb in a cave.
Yeah.
Start over.
Yeah, start over, or you know, get yourself organized. Get your, what do they say, feces consolidated. That's what we say in the military. But yeah, I mean, you don't ever bring anybody up by putting them down.
Yeah.
And people that put other people down are putting them down because they're already at the bottom.
Exactly.
So,
they're just trying to drag people down to their
You people that
level.
Bully other people, you know, and the heck with you. I mean, be nice. It takes less energy to be nice. Be pleasant.
Does. And Ashley, you know, even with young girls out there, everyone's trying to be this or be that, and it's just so exhausting, and it's not that important. What's important is being yourself.
That's right. Be kind, be different, be nice. There's actually a song out right now that I think debuted on NBC Songland by the Black Eyed Peas, and we play it all the time. Our girls love it, and it's just about being nice. We need more of that in the world, and you don't see that out there, in the mainstream media as much. Maybe we're seeing a little bit more of it now because bullying is such a big topic, but you've got to start at home, and you got to preach it to yourself, because adults can be bullies too.
Oh man,
it's hard.
I'm in my 50s, and I run into a bunch of thugs that are my age that are just kind of bullying people, and this is something the kids need to learn. Just ignore it. Just ignore it, because it doesn't matter. If someone is out there trying to make you miserable, or if they don't let you sit with them at lunch or something, or they're trying, just ignore it. Walk away and go do something else.
But having said that, Bob, like you mentioned, if anybody ever threatens you with bodily harm or anything along those lines.
Online, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, don't let them get away with it. If you're a kid, tell an adult, tell the teacher, tell administrators. There should be no tolerance for that. And it was different when we were kids, because that was back, I think we were just developing stone tools.
Exactly. We had
we had the abacus.
I had the chisel homework.
Yeah, I had the chisel one. But things back then just were, it was actually easier just to get in a fight because it would be done.
Yeah, it'd be over.
I had a couple of those in high school. It was mainly just like a bull just like doing his feet and snorting a lot, and then it's over. Yeah. But today, it just, kids don't let it go. And it goes on the
and a lot
online
of things
stuff.
They live forever on the internet, and that can be so damaging to a child who doesn't know how to deal with it yet. I can't imagine.
Because you know what, when you get older and you get out of school, into college and out of college, all this stuff, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference.
You'll remember it, and it will shape the person you become.
Yeah.
But
rise above it. There are bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to get that out there. So enjoy the school year, and tell us about all your escapades. And parents, share this with the kids if you can. And if there are kids out there, can't stress enough. If someone out there is bothering you, talk to somebody. Talk to mom and dad, or talk to somebody at school. Or like I said, call me, and me and Keith will show up and We'll have
or
lunch.
just play that
we'll have lunch
song.
with you, or play that. Keith and I will come and perform that song.
Exactly.
We will.
If we can.
And we're pretty big guys.
It's pretty catchy.
And you know what? And for the grown-ups out there, set the example. Just set the example. Kids mimic adult behavior, so set the example.
This is
Make
going to
good
feather
citizens.
into one reason why I kind of kept Last Anchors away up a while, because the first thing we talked about, hot cars. And it just so happened that that was up there the next day. Then I think there was an issue with a child in a hot car. And it's happened a couple times since then. Not sure why. But setting the example, there's a case in it's working, I guess, its way through the legal system right now, where a father is accused of putting his son in a hot car for punishment.
Yeah.
Not, in my estimation, a great example.
No, it was stupid. Let's call it for what
illegal
it is.
at this point. I guess there's a child endangerment issue, but you know, think before you act.
Exactly, and I mean, he is facing a misdemeanor. It could have been so much worse, and it could have changed his life and that family, you know, for years to come. So we're just glad that the child is safe.
Yeah.
And
But it's one of those things,
That's all we can think.
hopefully it's going to cool down. But just always the hot car thing.
Yeah.
It's always an issue. What is this? I walked into work today and people were like, "What is that?" Referring, I don't know how, since our camera operator can zoom in on that.
Well, it's a third eyebrow.
It's a new thing. I'm starting the third eyebrow.
Don't hide it, flaunt it.
All the kids are doing it. This morning, looks good, huh? I guess I could have put some more makeup
You're
on there,
sure
but
you
I
don't
want to get
need
infected.
stitches?
Turn
I
that
don't need
frown
stitches because
upside down,
it didn't go all the way to the skull, which was good. But
Or
you know,
the eye.
And I learned something today too, because I was out. Keith and I, you know, we do yard work as much as we can before we come into work. We've got property that has to be taken care of. So I'm out early this morning and I'm cutting lawn, cutting grass, and I've got a lot of people. You've got a mower with a grass catcher on it. I have one of those, and I got stuck in a hole, and I should have just turned it off, figured out what was going on, but naturally I was in a hurry, so I didn't, and I just figured I'd power through it, and I did, and I powered through this ditch that I was in, knocked the grass catcher off. It comes swinging back around. I know, you'd think there'd be a
only
better
laughing
story
'cause I've
than
heard
this.
it a
There's no
couple
fights
times.
involved. The grass catcher thing comes swinging by, and I look over, and it just goes, boof, bounces right off my enormous noggin. Fortunately, I didn't break that. But then it put this gash in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh, now I've got to deal with this. But it all started out because when I was going too fast, wasn't paying attention, and you know, if you're using a mower or anything like that, a tractor, you know, and I'm preaching to a lot of guys out there who've got equipment like that, stop, turn everything off, figure out what's wrong.
Bob, you need to
and
stop,
then
look,
move
and
forward.
listen.
That's what I need to do. Yeah. But so that's what happened, and you know, what are you going to do? It's one of those days.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. I even texted a picture to our bosses. I'm like, I'm dealing with this. And they're like, well, come on in. We'll see what happens. And
Yeah.
what are you going to do? So, and if anybody out there was considering giving me a punch in the head, and you think karma's
Consider
caught
it
up
done.
with me, maybe it has. Maybe that was the reason. I don't know. But anyway,
goodness.
I got it. Actually, I was going to say, you know, if there are ever guys by the name of Kevin, Craig, Chris, they want to take you outside, talk at the back, don't, because this is what happens to you.
Get it? I get it.
Do your research. Anyway, but that feathers into this next topic, one of those days, which it turned out to be one of those days, where all of a sudden everything, it's like you're walking into brick walls at every turn.
I usually
And
have
there's nothing
one
you
of
can
those
do.
a week. And they're not on Mondays usually.
You had a good
They
one.
come out of nowhere. You never know when they're going to hit. And
You had a
today
good one
was
today.
Thursday. It's beautiful outside. It was sunny. I woke up as the sun was coming up because my children are
This
in
is
school.
usually how those days begin.
And that's why my hair is looking like this. But no, it was just one thing after another. We spilled the syrup all over ourselves and the floor. Then that led to, you know, tears, almost tears, walking into school because we're starting kindergarten in a new school.
And it's
That got me all flustered. I probably didn't handle it like I should. That led to a trip to Home Depot with the youngest child while killing time. She sits on a wet lawn mower. Her pants are soaking wet, so I sent her to school with wet pants. Thank you, teachers. Y'all are amazing. We changed.
It was a hot mess.
You got the shorts changed. It was a hot mess. And then from there, the plant that I bought at Home Depot spilled and tipped over in the back of my car. Topsoil goes everywhere. Then I'm like
life.
doing a good deed and bringing some old diapers to a friend at work. I open the car door once I get to work after going through other things I'm not even going to mention, and the diapers fall out all over the floor. I could go on.
It's just, you know, it's one,
I won't.
And we think about having one of those days, you know, but it's life. It's,
and you can laugh about it.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do is just start laughing it off.
Yeah, and the thing is, when we have those days, sometimes we can't hide it.
It all has to change. You got to gather it up.
You got to take that.
I mean,
I don't know, that energy, anxiety, and turn it into
something else. But I've had them. I mean, you've heard me speak different languages by mistake, usually some gibberish of some kind. But when we have bad days, we're on full display in front of God and country for everybody to see us have a bad day. But so be patient. Sometimes we have those days just like you folks do, and unfortunately, we're on display on those bad days.
I tell you, and bring it all into perspective, because obviously when these things are happening to you, you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is I can't handle this.
It's too much.
And I bring this up too, because Matt DeCample, the former communications director for Governor Beebe, his birthday was just yesterday. He passed away at 45 from liver cancer. God, the guy fought like a champion. But I have, at his funeral, because Matt was a big lover of milk, at his funeral, at his memorial service, everyone got a small container of milk. And I kept that. And I've got it in my refrigerator still.
I love it.
And when I have a day like, like you've had or like I was having, I open up that refrigerator and I see that little thing of milk and I think, you know what? Nothing I'm dealing with compares, to what he went through. And a big thing that brought that around today too was Wendy Anderson passing away. Wife of Coach Anderson at A-State. It kind of really, such a sweet lady, and it brings you really down to earth that boy, whatever you're dealing with compared to what other folks are dealing with.
Yeah, and for folks out there dealing with stuff like that, just keep your head up.
Thankfully we can't relate right now, but we are husbands and wives, and it hits you. These stories, they hit you every time.
My dad had a great saying, when us kids would be complaining about stuff, he'd say, you know what? He said, if everybody in the world threw their problems out in the street, we'd be fighting like heck to get yours back.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what other folks are dealing with.
That's a good saying.
But it's always, just kind of keep your chin up, whether you get whacked with the lawnmower part, your kids are pouring syrup on themselves, or, Chief Keith has got to deal with, the 150 things he's dealing with, people complaining about weather.
Yeah, trying to know, like, 75 counties off the top of your head sometimes is a challenge. And I'm sometimes directionally challenged, North Pope or Polk, and Benton isn't in Benton County, and Conway's not in Conway County. It's a challenge every day.
It's, it's our life. And all it is just going through the motions. Anyway, we certainly hope you guys enjoyed this installment of Anchors Away. Kids going to school, have a good time. Don't worry about the garbage that's out there. Don't sweat the small stuff is rule number one.
And
rule
smile.
number two, it's all small stuff.
Yeah.
And smile. Make someone happy. Thanks for joining us for this installment of Anchors Away. Have a great week.